Welcome to the Binge Dietitian podcast. I'm your host, Jonathan Sumner, registered dietitian, focusing on helping men and women end binge eating, end food guilt, and finally say yes to life. This podcast is for educational and informational purposes only. It is not substitute for medical and personalized advice. Hi, welcome to the Binge Dietitian podcast, and in this episode, I have some brief tips for those who are looking after people who are struggling with binge eating this Christmas or festive season. I just want to first say a massive thank you and to give you so much credit to search out for advice to support your loved one struggling with binge eating. I understand and empathize that it isn't easy, and sometimes it could be frustrating taking care of a loved one struggling with binge eating. But you are on the right path to supporting your loved one. So remember that these quick tips are not just only for Christmas, but I'm just talking about this because Christmas is heavily centered around food, which most people would find guilty, and also the New Year's, the trend of the New Year, New Me diets are just around the corner. So it's no surprise why people are going through binge eating recovery, where the key to escape the binge restrict cycle is to avoid dieting and to start nourishing your body regularly and consistently by eating the foods you crave. And this is why Christmas can be a season of anxiety. So, just working from that, before I get on to the tips, if you are new to this podcast, hi, I'm Jonathan, a dietitian that helps people be free from their binge eating habits. And the key focus on binge eating recovery is the opposite of what most people think, is to not diet, because that can put you further into the binge restrict cycle trap where you're dieting really hard, then you have this intense craving or urge to binge, then you feel guilty, then you want to diet again, and the cycle just goes on. So the key is not to diet, but rather to nourish your bodies regularly. The reason why we have these intense cravings or urges to binge eat is because our body is so deprived and it's basically crying out for consistent energy and for psychological comfort by eating the foods we crave. These urges to binge are strongest when we undereat by not eating enough, not being comfortably full, or simply skipping meals, or if we have intense cravings, actually, and we're denying ourselves the foods we actually want, and we just try to push away our cravings and maybe have a drink of water or a banana when it's not really what we want. So providing what our body needs is the key to end binge eating. Then, once our body starts to appreciate that there is no threat of starvation, then that's when these binge urges and these alarms, should I say, become settled. So to jump on to tip number 1, this Christmas period, when serving meals, make sure to serve them buffet style this Christmas. Try to avoid putting food on the plate for them, as this can start or build up anxiety for them, where they have this pressure to finish their meals, everything on their plate, or they're going to start to feel that they're being judged if they don't finish the food on their plate because someone else put it on their plate for them. Let them choose their own portion size that they're comfortable with. Tip number 2. Avoid comments on the dinner table about weights or diet. Avoid or redirect harmful comments such as, "You're just being dramatic," or some people would say, "It's not difficult, just eat." One of the worst things you can do to someone struggling is to invalidate their struggles. Harmful comments such as these can make someone feel like there is no one on their side, which will make them feel less likely to open up about their struggles with you or even to professionals. Tip number 3. Use positive body language and kind words to support that you are there for them throughout the day. Make them feel that if there's anything they want to talk about, that you're always there for them. Feeling isolated and alone leaves room for more unhealthy thoughts to crop up, but feeling supported leaves room for good thoughts to crop up, and you'll slowly make yourself feel like a safe space for them. Tip number 4. Refocus talk about appetite and body weight away and focus on non-weight qualities such as their kind quality or their love for creativity, for example. You could say, wow, I love how you have so much passion for dancing, or wow, you're such a great listener. Tip number 5. After Christmas dinner, shift focus away from food onto activities such as playing games or watching a film. And during that event, or that activity, avoid and refocus talk away from post-meal comments such as, wow, I need to burn this all off next year. And try to stop people talking about their upcoming diet plans as much as possible. And you'll start to notice that the person struggling with the disordered eating habit in the room will start to see you as a safe space. Remember that Christmas time or this festive period can be one of the toughest seasons for people struggling with binge eating or disordered eating habits. So make sure that you're a safe space for everyone. And remember, we shouldn't have to wait for someone to open up and announce that they're struggling with their food for us to act differently and start putting our #mental-health-matters hats on. So I'm going to link the eating disorder charity called Beat in the link in the description of the podcast. If you need any helplines over Christmas, online support groups, or carer workshops if you're looking after someone struggling with disordered eating habits. So that's that short, very brief episode. Hope that helps, and let me know if you have any questions about this. And if ever you need me, you can always contact me in my social media account called Binge Dietitian, or you could email me at bingedietitian@gmail.com. So have lovely holidays, everyone, and bye! If you found this podcast helpful, you would definitely benefit from my Binge Eating Freedom course in my website, bingedietitian.com. Learn more about the triggers to why you're binge eating and how to stop binge eating for good. No more food guilt, no more jumping from diet to diet, and no more shame. Go to the link in this episode for my Binge Eating Freedom course to be one step closer to being binge-free, starting today.